Hey YouTube, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our first video in is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
I think it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Um, we just been busy as hell because it's actually like my first video period on this channel. I haven't done any videos myself or any of that. So, um,
I've had work in school, but now
yeah,
I'm on spring break, so I don't have any school this week, so we can get Breaking Bad done.
yeah, and I have no family coming down because that's what also happened too. Because when I was on spring break, it always seems like when I'm off of school, I never have time to do any videos. It just
So you're
what the
better off
hell?
at school.
Huh?
Um,
Yeah, I'm just better off being in school the rest of my life. So I was gonna do some Walking Dead videos, but I didn't feel like it. So because I had this on the brain, and um,
but hey, repeat of season 4, like you said, where we're gonna get the season done at the last week of the month.
hopefully that's if all goes according to plan. So
Yeah, it should though. I don't see why it wouldn't.
yeah,
But this is Breaking Bad season 5, episode 9, titled Blood Money. Comes out.
yeah,
When did it come out on?
August 11th, 2013, because this is the mid-season premiere. Um, I don't know if they had all of this, taped ahead of time or anything like that. Because I would imagine they retaped some of the scenes because it seems weird that it would take this long for them to,
Hey, am I
release it.
frozen on your screen? Sorry.
No. So we can keep going. These are the joys of Skype. So, but yeah, because as long as so it's frozen on my end, we should be fine. Because I'm the one recording it.
Just
so
my screen, I'm frozen. So
okay. But yeah, pretty much. This was the mid-season premiere. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is a whole new season," but no, it's not a whole new season.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
You're a bad person, and you should feel bad.
Yeah. So that's that. And I thought it was a good wait for people. I couldn't imagine though having to wait that long because I think you know I believe the first half of the season took place in the fall of 2012, and this took place in I think it's going to be the summer going to the fall of 2013.
Right, so almost a whole year. That must have been rough,
But
especially after the cliffhanger of last episode.
But I feel though it's a good wait. It's not
build hype and be
I'll talk about this real quick without spoiling anything. Walking Dead does the same thing, but it didn't really work for Walking Dead because what they left their cliffhanger off with was not really a good way to leave it off. So, when you see when you see that scene, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, let's talk about this episode. So, this episode's called Blood Money. Like AJ just said. There's a specific reason why it's called Blood Money, even though it's not the biggest thing that happens really in the episode.
It's not very. It's a reference to Jesse's dilemma this episode, but it's not Jesse's a huge player this episode. He's not really in the forefront.
Yeah. So maybe they. I mean, I get why they. I feel like that's the only real criticism I have of this episode. The title doesn't really have a big. I feel like they should have done. The title is something involving Hank because he was kind of the big part of the episode, I thought. So.
Right. But then again, it's not like Hank was doing a whole lot. He was mostly in his garage.
Yeah.
For real. Like the last episode, he pieced it together, but he didn't have the whole picture. This episode,
you didn't have
trying to get the whole picture.
So let's talk about it. The episode starts off back in the future, I guess it would be the present at this point, like the first, episode of this season did,
right?
Which I thought made sense.
Sure, Walt has a beard and full hair.
Yeah, I thought that made sense because it's kind of giving fans that picture of something's gonna happen now, and now fans know a little bit more. Gets us, which we'll break down in a second.
It paints more of a picture because before we just know that Walt is going up against something because he's buying the gun, and we know he's going by an alias now. Now we know everyone knows he's Heisenberg because his house is shut down and Heisenberg's written all over the walls.
Yeah.
And his neighbor was terrified of him.
Yeah, and I feel because of the last, the way the last, the mid-season finale ended, it kind of paints us a picture of kind of why this scene happens too. So,
right. We know AJ knows. Hank probably,
yeah. Yeah, AJ knows, but I don't know.
Yeah,
so.
I know you don't, and I won't say anything.
Yeah. So Walt, he goes for the license, which was kind of cool, because obviously we know he planted that there, like, earlier in the season. I think it was actually episode 2 of this season, actually. So, um, and, he leaves, and I feel like this is kind of one of those scenes you have to see in a way, because while it's very basic to break down, it's kind of like one of those scenes where you have to see it to kind of believe it. But, this doesn't sound important when we talk about it, but it's going to tie in later. This also gives us, like, a picture that, like, Walt's now, like, this big criminal, because he says hi to his neighbor, and his neighbor's, like, such in shock to see him. She, like, drops her groceries, kind of showing that Walt now is, like, feared because...
and that's, like, that's contrasted later when Walt says hi to her neighbor back in, like, the past, present, like, what's going on now with Walt.
Yeah.
And she's like, hi, Walt, how you doing?
Yeah, so...
you were saying that's, like, a reference to The Godfather, I think. I haven't seen The Godfather, so I don't know.
Yeah, we have to... I feel like... I heard a lot of people say that's, like, an awesome movie. That's definitely a movie we have to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic. We gotta review that at some point.
Because I feel like, too, when we watch that, too... Because I would imagine that, because Vince Gallens, I hear, like, takes a lot of reference from that movie to Breaking Bad, so...
Oh, yeah, like the prison killing scene was, like, a big Godfather reference.
Yeah, so...
or, like, inspired scene.
Yeah. So then, it does the intro and stuff, and then it cuts right back to Hank, and we're gonna get back to Hank at the end of the episode because
right, it's like that. We're gonna go by, like, story arc, and we're gonna talk about
kind of Walter and Jesse, how they're
yeah, we're gonna talk. What are we gonna talk about before Jesse? I forget.
Kind of like Walt, how he's adapting back to kind of life outside
We're gonna talk about the car wash scene.
Yeah.
Talk about Jesse's arc, and then we're gonna talk about Walt and Hank and how they're dealing with everything.
Yeah. So you get to see kind of. I think what this episode did very well was you got to kind of see Walt, like, adapt, beyond him being like this big meth cook now. He's kind of adapting back to real life, which I like.
Pretty happy about it. Like, he's not like, he's like, you think he'd be like upset that his life is back to normal. He's not really. He's actually seems kind of happy about it.
Yeah. So I thought that was nice because, while they've told this story before, I feel like they did the story better this time, obviously, because you could see Walt's actually happy. Like, before, when he had to step away, he, like, lost his family because of it and stuff. Yeah. So they even show it back at the car wash, and...
I think a lot of this has to do with Walt was getting bored earlier.
Yeah.
Because he knows, like, now I'm on top, there's no challenge, like...
Yeah.
Now he was getting bored with the meth business, so now I think he's okay, like, just living his normal life.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, yeah. And I think this is kind of nice, too, because we saw what happened earlier in the scene, we're kind of, like, wondering, like, what kind of change in it. Like, we kind of know, but, like, we don't know the specific of, like, what changed, everything. So I feel like that's kind of, like, a nice part of the season where we're kind of questioning how we get to that point. Because I feel like we talked about that, a lot. But I feel like that opening scene, we're asking that question more because now we know Walt in the future, like, is this big criminal now. So, and, you could see Skylar's finally happy because she finally has her life back on track. And she doesn't have to, pretend to be like the psychopath now and stuff. Not psychopath, but, killing herself and...
Yeah, like, have to pretend to be... Well, not really pretend, but, like, act all depressed and, like...
Yeah.
Like, hopeless.
Yeah. Walt's even, like, mentioning, because they still have to launder all this money, why not buy another car wash? Because they... Basically, Walt's, like... We talked about this before. Walt and Skylar's life, they're set for life, pretty much. So...
Oh, yeah. So Walt was saying, like, buy another car wash, that way we can launder more money, and then it's the most logical thing to do.
And then we see someone come to the car wash, and it's Lydia, which, when we see Lydia, we instantly know, like, something's going to happen here. And I like this scene a lot. Lydia actually, pretends to be a customer pretty much. I mean, obviously there's no pretending. She paid money and stuff, but... She's not obviously there for Walt, really. And she's upset because production and stuff and, like, the quality of the meth has dropped down a lot from when Walt was cooking because...
Now Todd's the one cooking, and he doesn't fully understand how he does it.
Yeah, because we saw that in the last episode. And This was a very, this was a reference back to Gus and Walt's scene. This kind of shows how like on top Walt is, because when Gus would talk to Walt sometimes like in public, he would like have to put on like two faces, like pretend, like he's just talking to Walt like in a
like he would as like the owner of
Los Polo Hermanos.
Yeah.
And but like he would secretly, like there was a reference to like when Walt was gonna put the GPS on his car and Gus said do it, so I thought it was very nice. I thought it was very nice because it just shows how much like Walt has risen in the meth business, even though he's still not even in it. So
yeah, he's in like a position of power now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walt isn't interested in going back. Lydia, so he basically tells Lydia to get out.
Yeah, and Sky was
like in a very passive way, like acting like he doesn't know her.
Yeah, and I had to watch the episode back again because I feel like we were falling asleep. Not because the episode was boring, but we were tired because you had to do something the next day. And
all right, we had gotten a lot done.
Yeah. So Skylar comes in and it's like suspicious because she got a rental car wash at a car wash, and typically like someone wouldn't get the rental car wash at a car wash.
Right.
So
and then Walt says that she's a former business associate and that they're not working together anymore. Skylar, I like Skylar in the scene. I think like it was understandable and justifiable what she did. She went up to Lydia and was like, "Get out! Like, don't come back ever."
Yeah. Like she basically
I think
like
Lydia is even more hateable than Skylar. So like,
yeah,
I was like, yeah, Skylar.
Yeah, because you can even like see too like
being more Heisenberg than Walt right now.
Like Skylar too, like even like doesn't even like let her call like get finished. She's like, yeah, this is done. We want because she just basically wants her out of here. And you can a lot of people we've talked about this before, like how hateable Skylar's character was, but she came off like you said very likable here because you can understand why she would do this because she literally like just got like her life back on track and stuff like that.
She doesn't want this lady coming in and ruin it for her.
Yeah. So I thought this scene was pretty good. Not awesome, but pretty good. And then we're going to talk about the Jesse arc now because that's kind of like, a big part of the episode.
I mean, that's what the episode's named after.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? Because I kind of want to talk about the Hank stuff. So.
Okay, so Jesse's very depressed over because Walt gave him his $5 million at the end of last episode to try and make things right with him. And Jesse is like overwhelmed with like what to do with this, and he's guilty over what Walt said earlier when they had their fight about it being blood money and how they got this money by killing innocent people.
Yep.
So Jesse originally goes to Saul to get this money, half of the money sent to Mike's granddaughter, which we find out later why he did that, and the other half sent to Drew Sharp's parents because he feels guilty about having him. He indirectly got him killed,
Yeah, that's I don't think we really went into detail who that is because we never like said his name. That's that little kid that died.
On the news report, yeah, they mentioned the little boy who Todd shot. His name was Drew Sharp.
Yeah, well, there could be people that are only watching the videos and not the show, which I don't know why you would be because we never like specifically.
Also, like 5 people watch these, so
Yeah. So we have to. I want to mention like who the kid is because we never mentioned him by name before. So, you want to continue?
And so Saul calls Walt to be like, "Hey, Jesse gave me $5 million. What do I do?" Because Saul, it's not like he could have just sent it to their parents because send it to those people because the DEA is watching Mike's granddaughter like a hawk, because after that whole thing, they know if a large amount of money goes to her, they're going to know it's drug money.
Well, and now they're probably watching it even more because obviously of how the last episode ended too, because
and Drew Sharp's parents, they would be happy to have the money, but I think they're more worried about their kid.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden their kid goes missing and then they get $2.5 million, they're gonna put something together that something happened to their kid.
Yeah. So, but I like this scene too because I feel like Jesse, it like we've talked about this before. Like at least Jesse is the one showing morals about this situation.
Right, like he clearly feels really bad about everything that happened, while like Walt and no one else really feels all that bad about it.
Yeah, it kind of shows that Jesse has like good morals, because I feel like Jesse. We talk about like how Walt's changed. I feel like Jesse's definitely changed throughout this series because while I think Jesse was this good of a person before, this kind of made him.
I think Jesse was always a good person. He just did a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah, I feel like too him
like
being
he
involved.
Didn't realize how bad he was hurting people by selling meth and everything.
Yeah, so and I feel like Breaking Bad, the whole storyline, kind of made him see that. So
yeah. So if anything, if anyone got better over time, it was Jesse.
Definitely.
Everyone else, like Walt, Skyler, Mike, Hank, everyone else just kind of became worse and worse people as time.
Well, not really Hank, not really Mike, but
I don't know. I feel like Hank.
No, I said I
Hank was. He got crippled for a little while. He was like depressed and everything.
I messed up. I meant to say Mike, but I accidentally said Hank.
Mike, yeah, I don't know. I feel like he didn't really change all that much.
Yeah, I mean, Mike died because of it, so.
Oh yeah, so he was definitely in a worse place towards the end.
Yeah.
By being in a tube full of acid.
Yeah, yeah, and also that little boy, he was in a tube full.
Little boy, yeah, he wasn't exactly in again bucket full of acid.
Yeah.
Victor, bucket full of acid.
Yeah.
Gus, half his face blown off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, those two planes.
Yeah, blown up.
Yep. So so Jesse feels bad about all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think Jesse blames himself a little too much. Like it's definitely a bits of it are his fault. But I think he blames himself for like everything that happened. Yeah,
and that's pretty. I think that's pretty relatable because I mean, it's not like I've ever been in this situation, obviously, but when you're in like a situation, where not everything's your fault, people will like think instantly that it's all,
right. And like fault. He definitely is responsible at least a little bit, but like even the things he did do, like killing Gale, like that was like out of a necessity, like he had to do that, or he and Walt were gonna die.
Yeah. He feels bad that like Block got put into the hospital, kind of because of him in a way. Yeah. Which we don't really.
Well, he doesn't know about that yet. But
yeah. And then those other like he got he kind of caused those two aircrafts to like blow up in a way because
by having Jane died and then her father accidentally did that.
Yeah.
So he's thinking like if everything goes back to me, if I didn't do this and this, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
So he's very depressed about that. He wants to get rid of this money.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it to like a good cause.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good thing too.
Yeah, which is like a bit of redemption for him, but Saul obviously can't do that because even if he wanted to get rid of the money for Jesse, like we said, like if he sent him to the money to the places he wanted, it wouldn't go good,
Yeah.
They'd all end up getting arrested and found out.
Yeah.
So Walt comes over to Jesse's house with the money and says, "Look, you've earned the money. I'm sorry I said it was blood money because I was just stupid and trying to win an argument."
Yeah.
But Walt asks, why did he want to send it to Mike's granddaughter? And Jesse says, "You killed 10 of his guys. And you wouldn't do that unless Mike wasn't around anymore. Because if he was, you'd have to look over your shoulder the rest of your life."
Pretty much, yeah.
So I guess this is like Jesse like trying to say like, I know you killed Mike.
Yeah.
And Walt like tries to deny it, like, look, if Mike wants to kill me, I understand, but I didn't do anything to him. And you can tell Jesse doesn't believe Walt.
Yeah, because he like says, yeah.
The way he said it, like, yeah, you're right. He got away.
Yeah.
And he just like looks off like he knows Walt's full of it.
Yeah. And that's basically.
Which is sad. I think Walt and Mike were like Jesse's father figures,
Yeah, definitely.
So knowing that one father figure killed another, like it must be like heartbreaking for him.
Yeah. And then like the end of the storyline we see is, Jesse kind of giving back to like, a homeless guy looking for money, which, kind of is
Jesse the idea to just throw the money at random houses.
Yeah, to kind of give back in a way. So.
Yeah. He just wants the money gone,
Which you could probably think about. It's gonna kind of hurt him later because now instantly like all this money is just being thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, I guess Christmas came early.
Yeah. But like that's obviously gonna go back to like the DEA now probably and stuff. So. I mean, maybe not, but we'll see. But yeah, all the Jesse.
We can talk about the Walt and Mike's Walt
Yeah.
and Hank.
We'll just say I like the Jesse storyline, like I talked about, because it showed that somebody in Breaking Bad has morals about all this type of stuff, and it was like a nice, because we really hadn't had like
this
Jesse.
Is very realistic, like if Jesse was like, all right, sweet, now I got $5 million, time to party.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he even imagined making this much. I think he imagined when he teamed up with Walt, make a couple grand, and then have some fun. Now it's like he's got millions of dollars.
Yeah. And
he doesn't even know what to do with it. He killed so many people to get this far.
And you can believe that happens to somebody too, like we talked about, like how all of a sudden now you have all this money and like people think like winning the lottery. We talked about there's probably reasons why people commit suicide after they win the lottery because they don't know what to do with all the money they have. So
it's like I think Walt and Jesse are having the same dilemma where it's like they have all this power and they've tried for 4.5 seasons to get this far. Now that they're here, they don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, Walt was bored too.
Well, Walt was like bored with power, and now Jesse's like guilty about the money.
Yeah.
So they're both like, I have all this power, now what?
I feel like too, it's a nice, storyline for that we've been waiting for in a way as fans and stuff. So.
Right. It's like we waited so long for them to get here. Now what?
Yeah, but. We finally got there, and it wasn't even the biggest storyline of the episode because there was another big storyline we waited for 4.5 seasons, and we finally got that storyline. Hank finding out about Walt. And, obviously after the last episode, everyone was kind of waiting because like we talked about before, I think one thing we didn't talk about in that episode that I feel like we should mention now is now that Hank knows that Walt's Eisenberg, it takes away Walt's superpower because he had all the inside information about the DEA.
Right, now Hank knows, so he's not going to let Walt in on any information.
Yeah, so...
and it sucks, he'd been retired for what, like a month, I think he said to Jesse?
Yeah.
Walt said to Jesse, I've been out for a month.
Yeah.
So he's finally out, and now Hank finds out,
Yeah, and like Walt kind of like is actually trying to... I mean, there's no going back to like what Walt did, but now Walt's kind of like you could see like he's trying to be like a better person.
Right, trying to like redeem himself in a way.
Yeah, and he should have pulled out when he had the. And if you think, I was thinking about this type of stuff too. Like I remember that episode when Hank was finally done. When he was like crippled and stuff, when he thought Eisenberg was dead, and Walt fucking, got drunk.
He's still out there. Yeah, Hank, Walt really did dig his own grave here.
Yeah. So like we talked about, we're gonna go back to the opening. Hank comes out of the bathroom, and he's all like in shock in a way because he's still kind of piecing it together and everything, right. And he wants to get out of there because now he knows. What do I do now? Like he's looking at Walt from the window, like shit, this guy's a mass murderer. And I even love because obviously the Walt, Skyler, and Marie and everybody are kind of continuing their conversation, and Marie makes the joke that Walt's the devil, and I love that because now Hank knows he really is.
He is,
Yeah. And because like that scene, like those quotes, like was like the thing we actually like heard over anything else, like, and I thought that was just a nice, jab and stuff. So Hank pretends that he's sick because he wants to get out of there because now he knows that Walt's this criminal. And I even love to like it's just focusing on Hank. Like we don't see anything else that happens. And I like kind of the jump scare they do where he's about to leave and Walt's the one that comes over and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and
Walt's being like super friendly, like normal to him.
Because he doesn't know yet. And
because it's like, it's funny, like if Hank didn't know, he'd be acting completely normal to him,
Yeah.
But now that he knows what's up, like it's like comes off as like menacing and like two-faced.
Yeah. And he also takes the book because that ties into the episode later on too.
Right.
And you know they drive away, and then they do that scene where Walt says hi to the neighbor. We already talked about that. So, and you know Hank's having like like a nervous breakdown. But obviously we know what's happening, but it's kind of like it's like one of those moments where like everything, like in those movies where it just goes in like their mind and Marie's like talking and we hear it, but like
quiet and like blacked out.
Yeah.
And Marie just what's happening with him. She just thinks he's like having like a stress meltdown or something.
Yeah, and she doesn't realize until it's too late because he drives into like somebody's fence and has like a nervous breakdown, pretty much.
Yeah, like a panic attack, and Murray tells the guy to call 911.
Yeah, because the guy probably was just about to come out and be like, "The fuck, you just drove into my fence." But when the guy realizes he's having a nervous breakdown, then he's like,
"Okay, yeah, that I understand. Yeah. If my mind was breaking down, I'd probably drive into something too."
Yeah. And Hank could easily now like could go into the emergency room and stuff, but I feel like now like this kind of is like now that Hank doesn't really want to like risk any like lost time now that he knows Walt Eisenberg and everything. Like he doesn't even care about his own health, which has always been kind of told in the storyline, but now I feel like now it's more important than anything else. Like he doesn't care about his health at this point, because he even cuts off like the hospital tag and everything, and he doesn't want Marie to tell Skylar that he just had like a nervous breakdown and drove into the fence, because then he knows that Walt's gonna realize like Hank wouldn't typically do that. So, and then he finally starts piecing it together because he pulls out the Gil Benniger case and he goes back to like what he wrote to Walt before when we saw that, and then realizes that the handwritings match. So, and then Hank,
he has this montage of like going through all the evidence before, like Walt and Jesse like stealing that meth barrel.
Yeah. And this is the moment right here when when Hank watches all of the Breaking Bad episodes, pretty much. He doesn't I don't think like fully tie it together. Like he knows Gus is involved, he knows Mike's involved and stuff, but he doesn't. I don't think know the full story. I think like he doesn't know like how Gus, like why he blew up a nursing home and stuff like that. But he basically ties it together that like Walt's involved with all this type of stuff. And it's definitely an awesome montage because it's like another one of those moments where they just tie in all the Breaking Bad episodes together.
Right, like again, it's like last episode was him like it clicking for him. This is him getting the whole picture.
Yeah, because it's not like he could instantly like turn him in because that's not enough proof really for Hank.
Oh, what evidence do you have, Hank? He has the same book as this guy who got killed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no.
Yeah. So he had to pretty much tie it in all together. So then, meanwhile, everything on Walt's end.
He clearly hasn't told anyone else because the two DEA agents were there when Walt gets there later, and they're just like, "Oh, hey, Walt, how you doing?" Yeah.
And he hasn't told Marie because obviously then Marie. Basically, he doesn't want Walt to know.
How would that conversation go? Hey, Marie, turns out our brother-in-law is actually a super meth kingpin. Oh, by the way, what's for dinner?
Yeah. That would be funny. But obviously he doesn't, because he basically doesn't want like it out there that to Walt that he knows because right. But it wasn't enough. Walt was still one step ahead of him, which is obviously I would say even though it's not like a reference, it's kind of like another Gus thing now because he's dealt with this with Gus so much that now I feel like Well, he wasn't one step ahead of him, but he basically, was like on the same type of step as him.
He's able to gain an upper hand type of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Because
earlier, Walt ended up throwing up after dinner, and we find out his cancer's back.
Yeah.
And it's shot in the same way as Gus when he was throwing up after the cartel poisoning.
Yeah.
So another like parallel to those two.
Yeah. So I think Walt starts adding it up because they were supposed to like go bowling one night, but Hank was still sick. And then, Walt realizes his book's gone missing, but he still doesn't like fully realize it yet. He finally realizes it when he goes outside. And it's kind of like one of those like random, like Walt being smart type of things, but you can't really explain like how he instantly would know like the GPS is there, but it's
yeah, and he realizes it's Hank's because it's the same GPS that he put on Gus's car.
So that's when like he finally like clicks that like you know.
And I think like he knew about it because like he saw the book was gone, and he just like kind of like an intuition thing, like if this is Hank, I know what he's gonna do next, and that's put a GPS on my car.
Yeah, because he does it too, like you know when Skylar and stuff doesn't, because he probably instantly because you know doesn't want Skylar to know that Hank's onto them because then it's gonna mess up their lives again. So, and that's probably why he doesn't want Skylar. Because we did mention this too, like nobody has known too that Walt's cancer's back too, because he. You know, literally Skylar and everybody just got their lives back together.
Right, so. And like I think this scene happens like like the same night as when when Walt throws up.
Yeah.
So I think like Walt just found out his cancer's back.
Yeah. Yeah, because it shows like him going.
What a shitty day, huh? You know, your cancer's back, and your brother-in-law knows you're a meth kingpin.
So then. Probably one of the best scenes of Breaking Bad, you know, probably top 5, maybe top 10. Walt goes to Hank's house, and this was awesome. This was a very L light moment right here from Death Note.
From Death Note, yeah.
Yeah, because you know, obviously it's not the same thing because obviously in Death Note right now, L and Light don't like necessarily know their tie-ins with stuff, but
right, they don't know who's who and like
but here
who each other are.
Yeah, here they actually know who each other are, so they kind of proceed to have like you know a normal conversation at first, but it was just kind of like so awesome because like I said, it's like an L Light moment.
Right, like in their minds, they're trying to figure out a way to take each other down, but like having a polite conversation.
And this was that tennis scene moment from Death Note right here too.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. Yeah.
Because I was even thinking too, like I really wanted like you know a poker game or like a checkers, a Hangman game with Walt and Hank.
Hangman.
Yeah.
Connect 4.
Yeah, something like that where they just refuse to lose to each other.
Exactly. Oh, that'd be awesome.
But I feel like too because it would they don't you know obviously they only had like 7 episodes left, so they didn't have time. I felt like if they had time they would have done that scene, but I feel like
you're a piece of shit murderer and I hate you. But let's play Connect 4 real quick. Okay, Hank, let's do that.
It's basically that would have been awesome.
But tread lightly, cause I don't lose in Connect 4. I'm a reigning champion.
Yeah, it would have been like another. You know, Mike Walt, I Spy moment and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, that'd be awesome.
Like, too, an I Spy game would have been better, too, because Hank and Walt would have been guessing what they're seeing, and they're like, oh, you piece of shit guessing my I Spy.
I see a real piece of crap. Is it me? Yeah, how'd you find out? Because that's what the last 3 were.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the I Spy game, man. That's funny.
But, you know, I feel like here was, like, the closest we got to that tennis scene right here, because, you know, they were basically like they were just having a typical conversation, but because I think you know it was something you know we had waited because the difference between this is you know Death Note had just started you know when they did that scene, Breaking Bad was just ending, and we had waited for this scene for like
this was a lot of build up.
Yeah, so
Death Note was like 10 episodes in when they did that.
Yeah, so Walt's about to leave, thinking. And they did say, like, another reference of the show was, like, when you see that little kid driving the car, because I think that was they did that before. I forget exactly what the reference was, but they talked about that a little bit, but I didn't really read into it because I didn't really think it was that
important. It's like such like a background thing.
Yeah. So then Walt turns around and he
looks
said...
like he's about to leave, and then, he calls him out.
And he's like, well, you're going to laugh. But, you know, obviously, because he knows he's not going to laugh. But I found... And he pulls out the GPS on his car, and he's like, you know, this looks like, you know, when we were tracking Gus Fring, just you and me. Closes the garage door with the remote. And, you know, Walt even says, you know, then Hank starts looking at him menacingly. And Walt's like, I don't like the way you're looking at me right now. And then something we waited for 4.5 seasons, Hank punches Walt right in the face. And, you know, that's when, like, you know, everything comes out. Hank mentions not everything, but you know most things that like Walt did to make sure that like you know Hank wouldn't find out, like how he drove into traffic, how he had somebody call Marie, his like phone number when he was outside on the RV.
Basically, Hank saying, "I know most of the shit you did, and like, I'm calling you out on it."
Like the only thing he mentions that like he doesn't know the full story about is him blowing up the nursing home. So,
no, he mentioned that. Like he was like, "You blew up a nursing home. You killed 10 prisoners to save yourself."
Yeah. Well, he mentions it, but he doesn't know the real reason why he had to blow up the nursing home.
Right. He doesn't know like every detail, but he knows like the main things he did.
So then
he doesn't know why he killed the prisoners, but he did it, right?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Well, yeah. So then Walt, at first thinks he's making accusation. I mean, he doesn't say it, but because he's still trying to like make it seem like Hank doesn't know the whole story, but he knows
right,
he knows.
Trying to make it seem like play innocent, like I'm not Heisenberg.
Yeah, but he also says, he tells Hank his cancer's back, and basically says like, you can go through all this stuff now, but I'm never gonna see the end of a jail cell because I could be dead in 6 months.
Right. It's like there's no point in trying to arrest me.
Which is, I feel like a good kind of like comparison because there's been, I don't know, like history, but there's been cases before where, they've tried to, whether they could have easily convicted somebody like in real life, but knowing they were going to like be dead in a amount of time, they didn't bother doing it. Like there was a less.
That's kind of like Walt's argument. Like, I'm not saying I did all these things, but if I did, there's no point. I'm going to be dead in 6 months. By the time you get enough evidence and have my trial, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he has all the evidence, but the trial probably is going to take a while.
Right, exactly. And, like, Walt did so much stuff, the trial would take forever,
Yeah. So, because I think the Boston bombing trial is still going on right now, too.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Well, it's not still going on, but, like, he hasn't, like, had, like, the death penalty yet.
Properly convicted yet,
yeah. So that's the biggest example I can think of. So then, I think Hank agrees to it, but says, have Skylar bring the kids here, and then we'll talk.
Right.
And Walt doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to do that to Skylar because he knows, they just, like I said, the ties
they
in.
Just stuck life together. They don't want Hank ruining it for them.
Yeah. So then Hank finally says, I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. Am I talking to Walt or am I talking to Eisenberg? And then Walt says, well, if that's the case, and then he finally goes into full Eisenberg mode, I think your best course is to tread lightly. End credits.
I like how he's like, I like how it zooms back in Hank's face and he's just like shocked. Like he doesn't even know how to respond.
Yeah, because it's like he's never seen this, because he hasn't seen this side of Walt yet, really. Exactly. I mean, he's probably seen it, but like, he hasn't seen it like, in
like
person
with this
yet.
context, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's before. I think it helps because like before, Walt was playing innocent, and then being like, I have cancer. There's no point in doing this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just flips a switch.
Yeah.
And also, he was like talking normally, and then when he said "tread lightly," his voice got really deep.
Yeah.
It was like he was possessed by a demon. It was like nuts.
Yeah. This scene was definitely worth waiting for. It was awesome. This episode was awesome. Not really a problem with this episode. I thought everything was awesome.
I give it an A, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Not quite a perfect episode. I can't really name what's wrong with it, but I feel like,
nothing really wrong with it. I think it's just like a lot of it's set up, It's setting up Jesse's dilemma, and it's setting up what happened from last episode with like Hank trying to piece everything together.
Yeah. And I think too, this scene, the ending scene with Walt and Hank definitely bakes it the A, because without this scene it'd probably be like an A-, but with this scene alone makes it an A.
Yeah, because again, it's like that's like their first confrontation,
Yeah, so
like most of this episode was just building off of what happened last episode.
Yeah, so I loved, but I still loved it regardless.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a great episode.
And I will say, too, because of their performance at the end of the scene, they do, like, I guess apparently they used to do, like, best TV performance, like, of the week. Hank, I forget his name, the actor's name, but Dean Norris actually won best performance of the week, which obviously makes sense because, I mean, he was very good in this episode, so.
Yeah, that was great. His acting was awesome.
Yeah, I think, probably, I was kind of surprised he didn't win the Emmy award for Best Actor, but there's probably going to be a scene later on in the season that trumps it or something. So, because probably if this had been not the last season, it probably would have won it. but because of what's probably going to happen, at the end of the season, we're going to find out why he doesn't win Best Acting Performance. Or maybe there's another show that comes out.
I'm pretty sure Aaron Paul, who plays Jesse, I think he won an award for performance he does in a couple episodes.
Okay, yeah. So that's probably why Dean Norris didn't win. But yeah, this still ruled. And yeah, that's basically it. So we're going to make the announcements now because we talked about the format, but we're changing the format a bit for these Breaking Bad episodes because
there's only a few left.
Yeah. So because these episodes are going to be pretty big, we're still going to do 10 and 11 as an episode. 12 and 13
are so 10, 11, 12, 13 are reviews. Two episodes per review.
But we're going to do the last three, which would be 14 through 16, all as their own videos because
it's so significant we kind of have to.
I mean, I only know that because
16 more so, but 15 is also pretty significant, dealing with fallout from 14 and setting up 16.
Yeah, because we discussed it too. Because this season's so significant, we can't do 3 videos. We probably could do 10 through 12 in one, but
maybe, but I feel like that's too much,
Yeah, trying to fit too much in. And we can't do from what you told. We can't do 15 and 16 as an episode because the last episode has to be its own thing. So,
right.
And 14 and 15, from what you told me, that episode.
The last episode deserves to be its own thing. That is a great episode.
We're not going to do reactions, but we're going to watch 14 together, and we're going to watch 16 together. So,
right. Maybe 15, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, it will be up for discussion. So. Yeah, so that's basically it.
The only reason we don't do reactions to this is because copyright and everything.
Yeah, because we watched this via Skype, and I have to show him my screen. I mean, I guess we could easily just watch it together, but I'm just not. I don't
but the audio syncing would be difficult. It's just more convenient to do it that way.
Yeah, so because I really, 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 really wish we could have filmed my reaction to not this episode, but the last episode.
Oh yeah, episode 8. Oh my God, your reaction when Hank finds out was awesome. You got super close to the screen and you're jaw dropped. You're
yeah.
That was awesome.
So, whatever. But yeah, that's basically it. And then we're gonna make a channel update video, probably not sometime next week. Maybe beginning of April. We'll probably do it beginning of April because
we're gonna get Breaking Bad done this week. So, and then after we finish Breaking Bad, we'll probably review Bird Box.
Yeah, Bird Box, and then we're gonna do some. I hate saying this, but I don't want to say fun videos, but we're gonna do some in between stuff between Breaking Bad and Death Note.
Videos we wouldn't normally do, Family Guy and SpongeBob, and just shows that we don't normally review, but are just gonna dick around with type of thing.
Yeah, because right now we're not doing any other videos at the moment until we finish Breaking Bad. Those are going to be the only.
Breaking Bad, we've been on it for so long, and we're so close. We got to finish it,
Yeah. So, please, real world, get out of our lives right now.
I know. Please work. School's already out of my way. Work. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. Don't, because I don't have school Wednesday. Don't do. I only have to go in for an hour. Don't do this. Please. If there's any time you could get out, not mess up my life and keep me away from this show, now's the time because
I know, right? We're so close to the end.
You did it once up during my spring break. Don't do this to me now. So.
How do you think I feel? I had to work every day last week.
Yeah. So please don't. Please, but before we sign off, is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Just my channel, AJ Talent. Me and my classmates did a video on Oedipus for theater class. We posted that on my friend's YouTube channel. I can't think of the name of the channel right now, but we'll post that in a later video maybe. Yeah.
You should also, if you're going to do a video on your channel this week, this is probably the week to do it because you're not in school this week. So.
Oh, yeah, good.
And you can make it Breaking Bad related. Talk about the best episodes, which, then I feel like you should save that video for me. But if you want to do it, knock yourself out. But
we could make our own separate ones and then do a combined one.
Yeah, I'd have to watch them all again though.
Well, I mean, you know which the big ones are, right?
Yeah, like the first
just
one.
go back and watch like the big ones that you like, and then
Yeah, maybe underrated. We'll do. We should do.
spoilers. Fly is not number one.
No, it's probably like number. Well,
How many episodes are there? It's whatever. It's whatever number their episodes are.
Yeah. We should do like 2 like underrated episodes because I feel like there's like that crawl space.
Really good episodes that kind of get like overshadowed.
Like that crawl space episode, I don't think people probably talk about.
I feel like this one's overshadowed, if anything, because like last episode was so big and significant. Like this episode isn't as well received.
Yeah. So yeah, well we're just rambling now. I'll do my plugs. Make sure you tune into the CM Brothers YouTube channel. Really just March Madness series I'm doing with my friends. Me and AJ aren't going to do anything like, in the future until, we finish Breaking Bad. We're going to be like making a lot of videos once we start Death Note again. So.
Death Note, because Death Note has a lot of like movies and series and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And then he has to do those punishment videos. He's gotta
jump in my pool with like an ice cube or something, and then I gotta drink hot sauce.
Yeah.
So I'll do that sometime this week as well.
You don't have to drink like the whole thing, right? Just like a small.
Oh yeah, no, just like a shot glass. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you don't have a shot glass, it's just like a cup that's about that size. So.
Yeah.
And then check out this channel. Mainly just gonna be Breaking Bad reviews. Maybe Walking Dead, but Breaking Bad's like trumping it right now. So.
Breaking Bad, because like we said, we're gonna get it done in March. We have 1 left. We have 1 week in March left. We gotta get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically it. We should plan to like the days we're gonna do it after we done recording. But we're done with this video. But
episodes 10 and 11, the review will be out either today or tomorrow for that.
Yeah. But we're done with this video right now.